This is Christine Skinmaker, and this is the first video post on myconsultinglife.com. When I was thinking about the topic for this week's post, I thought that it made sense for maybe this to be the first point that I actually talk to you all face-to-face. For anybody that's been following the blog for the last few months, we talk about a number of things that are relevant issues to new consultants, and this is one in particular that I feel like is sort of one of the dirty little secrets of the consulting profession. I think it's something that a lot of people deal with on a regular basis, but really nobody talks about. In fact, most people that I talk to confidentially will tell you that they're actually afraid to talk about this with a lot of their peers or their mentors. So I wanted to actually connect with all of you in a slightly different way today, which is part of the reason that I wanted to have this conversation with you via video. I have found myself literally surrounded the last couple weeks by people that are expressing this notion that they're an imposter. They feel like regardless of where they are in their careers, whether it's 2 weeks or 2 years or even 12 or 15 years, that they have this feeling sometimes like they just don't know what they're doing, and that someday somebody's going to find out that they really don't know what they're talking about. And when I think back to my time as a new consultant, that was something that I faced, I think, on a regular basis, and I just didn't acknowledge it for what it was. It really came home to hit me in the face this week when a friend was talking to me about a proposal that they were working on. This was a proposal for a project that was multinational. It was global in scope. It was very complex. But this was something that this person who's 15 years into their career could do in their sleep. They're brilliant at what they do. They're often expressing themselves very confidently and really, they're just fantastic at what they do. And while this was definitely more complex in scope than something that they had done in the past, certainly on a different scale, it was a subject area that was very near and dear to their heart. So it kind of got me thinking, okay, once again, it's not just something that new people face, but something that everybody faces at some point in their career. So what's the main source behind that? Certainly as a consultant, I think there's this high demand for you to be an expert from the second you walk in the door. Is it that? Is it the concern that, gee, other people are much smarter than me, I'm sure that I really can't know what I'm talking about? Or is it sort of this fear that, when you operate in an environment where you have these incredibly high expectations, that you're not going to be able to live up to that? And I think, it all really became very clear to me recently when I was at a networking event. I was having a conversation similar in nature with someone, and he said it so simply. He said, until I've done something once, I don't feel comfortable that I know how to do it. And I think that that's something that a lot of people experience. We all learn in different ways. Some people can read textbooks and understand how something works and feel very confident in how they approach it. And a lot of us need to actually do something before we trust our intuition and the knowledge and the experience that we bring to the table. So here are a couple helpful tips that I've found in terms of how to deal with this when you face it. The first thing is realize it's not just you. Everyone experiences this at different points in their career, whether they are a senior executive for a consulting firm, someone like me who ventures out on their own, starts a new business, starts coaching for the first time. I certainly experienced that same feeling again. A friend of mine even did this week, who just transitioned from a career in real estate to teaching fourth graders. Anytime you do something new that you haven't done before, it's completely natural to feel like you don't know what you're doing. But know that everyone else feels that way too at some point or another, whether they're admitting it or not. The second thing is to just start somewhere. With consulting in particular, everybody knows the stakes are high, the expectations are high. You were hired because you are a smart, talented individual who can figure things out. Problem solving, analytical abilities, all things that every consulting firm that I know looks for. So use what you have. It's not going to be well received if you continually beat around the bush and are frustrated and stressing over the fact that you've never done this before. Start somewhere. Look at what you do know. Pull on the experience that you already have, whether it be from school, from other projects, Other things that, maybe aren't directly related but could be similar. For example, if you planned events in college as part of a sorority or fraternity, and now you're tasked with, setting up a launch meeting. Well, there's a lot of things that still go into the same, that are still the same concepts: budgeting, venue selection, all those things. So start with what you do know. The next thing is collaborate with people. You are surrounded by people on your team that are peers, people that have probably been at your account maybe for longer than you, or even mentors that you have. Once you have an initial idea of, how you might approach a problem or a situation or a task, then collaborate with them, get feedback, ask them questions like, based on your experience, this is what I was thinking. What do you think would work? What are some things that I'm maybe not thinking about that I should be, or some common pitfalls? Particularly when you're at a client site that you are new to, finding that person that's been there for a long time, or at least longer than you, that knows some of the ins and outs. Even if they haven't done exactly what you're doing, they can probably give you really valuable perspective on what would work, what wouldn't, and what might be well received. Finally, you're going to continue to iterate towards a solution. And once you get through this process, believe it or not, you will feel a sense of relief and a little bit more confident that you know what you're doing. But be certain that, particularly if you've chosen the consulting path, most projects are always going to be unique, and you're always going to be faced with this feeling again and again. So as my favorite crazy wine expert, Gary Vee, would say, rinse and repeat. So once you find yourself on your next project or your next role, your next client, when the feeling starts to come up all over again, remember those couple of simple steps and start the process over again. It's not you. Start somewhere and seek others out to help you and collaborate and brainstorm great ideas. So I hope that helps. I would love to hear from any of you that have other ideas on things that you've done or seen other people do that help them with this. So share your ideas with me. Tell me what else you can think of that you might do to help get you out of the fear paralysis and into action and help you be more productive on your project. Take care.